Oh my God, it's flying. Well, there she is, ready to try yet again. So, Tim the Plane Man here. Hi everyone, I'm out at the cricket pitch and getting ready to have another flight of the Sopwith Pup. I've made some adjustments, some really important ones, so let's see what happens, because I think this might make a difference. What I noticed when I had my last crash was that that the control rods inside the plane were actually rubbing on the side of the fuselage, especially the rudder, which, if you remember, the rudder, the plane just tried to go around in a circle, and if it did manage to turn the other way, just went around in a circle the other way. Well, I think it was sticking. So I have made some adjustments to how the control rods connect to the servos to hopefully move it further away from the side of the fuselage. It's pretty tight space in this little plane, but I think I got it, so let's see what happens. I'm somewhat optimistic. Oh, and just to add, I've also added some, I've actually put a switch on my Jumper T-Lite to add some expo and some rate to the elevator and rudder. I've got 3 switch settings, one with none, one with about a 75% rate, and one with about 60% rate, and ramping up the expo at the same time. And I do forget the numbers, I can post them after the video. So I'm going to start with the middle switch right now, which is about 75% on the rate, and from memory I think it's 25% expo on the elevator. So we'll see how that goes, and let's have some fun anyway. It's going to be fun. So throttle's going to go up at just over 50%, and then I'm gonna I think I may have to, I'm gonna try throw it slightly up. Oh my God, it's flying. Whoa. Oh. No, it's stuck again. It won't turn. Oh, what's going on with the damn rudder? Won't turn. Come on, take some rudder. Okay, that wasn't bad actually, but it's just not turning. Okay, I'm gonna have to take off the rate, because I'm not sure what's going on with the rudder. Hopefully I didn't break anything, because I'd love to try some more. See how we go. But it just wouldn't turn the way I wanted it to turn. So let's see what we lost. Anything? We lost our hatch. That's pretty painless. There's nothing wrong with losing the hatch. I think oh, I've lost a little bit of wingtip here. Okay. Oh, I don't know if that's gonna, should have brought a little bit of glue. I think that's gonna be a little awkward if the wingtips, because that could affect the flying performance. But honestly, I'm sorry, I really want to try this some more. Okay, so I had some nice flying there, although it still wouldn't take the rudder. Let's go. Okay, let me have a look at that. I think that's what I better have a look and see what's going on. Okay, now that was working. If I turn the switch on, okay, that rate on the rudder, maybe that's the problem. So the trick is, I really need rates on the elevator, because it really is hard to control on the elevator, but I don't need rates on the rudder, because the rudder is barely controlling the plane. This is starting to feel like it's one of those stories where it'd be great with some ailerons. So, oh well. So now I'm going to have to be a little tricky with my controlling the plane, and it's a little bit of a risk because it's not obvious already. I'm not the greatest pilot, but having a lot of fun. So I'm going to have to try to be fairly conservative on my use of the elevator, but I've got to but the rudder I shouldn't be so relaxed about. Which shouldn't be a problem, because honestly I've been trying to yank the rudder left and right during the last flight and it wasn't doing anything. So let's see what happens. Okay, oh, that's better. Okay, it's a little hard to do the elevator, but the rudder is doing what it needs to do. So if I could just control myself a little on the oh, come on, come around. That is just so painful. Come on. Well, I think I managed to bring her into the ground without doing a dive bomb, so that wasn't bad. But yeah, the elevator is incredibly twitchy, really hard to control, and I need the rate. And wow, well, instead of using companion, which is what I've been using right now, I think what I need to do is to try and set it up here on the field, because I totally need the rate on the elevator that I had set up. That was working and I was controlling it, but the rudder, on the other hand, no rate, because, well, that was barely even controlling the plane, even with the no rate that I had set there. So let me see. Let me see what I can do. Oh, where are we? Yeah, luckily I didn't crash on the road. Everything looks actually, oh, that wing is a little, it almost looks like it's going to come off, that wingtip. I mean, I'm sure it's affecting the flying. Maybe you can't see it here, but what's happened is that wingtip is sort of broken off a little. It's a little fragile. Didn't bring any glue with me. I think I might have to start doing that. It's still in place though, and I don't want to pull it off because then it won't match the other side. So there's a risk that I might lose it. It's always something I could solve. So I'm going to try right now to put just a touch of, so actually I'm going to do a little bit of trim, and now I'm going to, all right, so what we'll do, we'll go over here to our inputs that I've done it on, and what I did was I said on your switch B is in the middle, which is what I'm going to use. My rudder is 75. I don't know if you can see that. My rudder, I'm using the aileron control for the rudder lift. See here, like this. So that's 75, and then the elevator is also set to 75, but the rudder is also set to 75, and that's what I need to change, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete all the rates on the rudder. It's the easiest way to do that. So that, now I better make sure that I disable that switch, because what I want it to do is always be active. So hopefully that's got the rates right. So now my rudder is full on, my elevator is full on the first switch, then my rudder is still full on, but my elevator is rated, and then worst case my elevator is still full on. Full on is not a lot, honestly, it's not moving. Not sure really. Well, that is how much that elevator moves. I've got it on the outside control horn in both cases. That's how much that that rudder moves. That's how much it moves. So, okay, well, we're gonna have to see how we go with that. Even gonna try a takeoff. Let's see what happens. Let's just use this clean, smooth spot here. And all right, so we're gonna have rates on our elevator. We're gonna have no rate on the rudder, and let's see what happens. Oh my god, I almost have control of it. Come on, come around. That's all right, behave. Whoa, so I lost it in the light, in the kind of the, I think I'm going to drop the throttle back a bit. This is just a little hard to, yeah, that's hard to manage. Okay, let's try now. Whoa, okay, don't get the idea that I'm doing this fancy acrobatics deliberately. That's the plane does something unexpected and me overcorrecting. Generally that's what's going on, but now at least I'm overcorrecting in a way that isn't crashing it into the dirt. So, whoops, as I speak. That was me tempting not to overcorrect. I could feel it going into the grass, and then I didn't pull back hard enough, which because I didn't want to take it up into the sky. So let's see if what we've got here. That wingtip's coming off. I'm gonna have to save it. That's not gonna survive. Oh no, it could survive. And you know what, that's quite possible though, that's the reason why she's behaving strangely. So I'm actually gonna remove that wingtip. Remove the wingtip now. I'm gonna take a chance that that doesn't affect it too badly from the aerodynamics perspective. We shall see, but I need to put that safely into a pocket so that I can reattach it later. So we're still more or less in one piece, and we've had a couple of really nice little flights. So generally speaking, I'm pretty happy now that I mean with that rating, but I still, you know, the rudder, I pull the rudder left and right, it moves. It is moving. I don't think it's catching. I have to check that back at the desk. I can't see those control horns here, but it's moving, and the plane reacts very slowly when that happens. That was a takeoff, and that actually worked, so I'm going to do that again. It was actually quite fun. So same thing again, middle rates. You know what, I'm even going to try the higher rates on the elevator. That was still a bit twitchy. So okay, so right now I'm running 66% on the elevator with a 50% expo. So that should be much less twitchy and much less maximum. Let's see what happens. Didn't quite get off the ground before I hit the grass. No big deal, the grass is nice and lush and rich and thick. A perfect cushion for crashing into. Okay, oh, we got a nice slow flyer now. Okay, let's turn the elevator throttle down a little bit. She is trying to come around. Whoops, I'm gonna let it go around and then try to turn this way. It's flying like it's tail heavy again. Come on, turn. Right, I'm going down. Okay, I turn the elevator and it just keeps going straight, which, I mean, that's kind of nice because it's not flying in a circle like it was before. Now it just keeps going straight, and then it tries to go into those cars parked over there, which, and I'm trying to pull the rudder over, knowing that if I pull too far, I could spiral into the ground again. It's really tricky. I think maybe I should have an expo on the rudder, but no rate. It maybe makes more sense. Okay, let's see what we got. So I lost one of the struts on the wing there. Oh, lost two of them. I mean, I'm taking a little bit of a chance here. I'm starting to lose a little bit of structural integrity, but honestly I'm having too much fun, so I'm going to have to do it again. I think I'll just I'm going to do a hand launch this time, just slightly above 50% on the throttle. That seems to be the sweet spot for it to fly in a well-behaved manner. But let's check that center of gravity. I don't know if there's something up with it. See now, it's almost perfectly where it's supposed to be, just behind the leading edge, 15 millimeters in. I'd say it's balanced perfect. I'd say it's balanced perfectly. I don't know if you could see that, and I'll try doing it again in a way that you can see. But it's pretty much balanced perfectly. So the question of whether or not it's tail heavy or front heavy is very sensitive to minor adjustments. It might have even been that I moved the battery a millimeter or so to the front or to the back. But let's see. Well, let's okay, I can turn the elevator to the right. That seems to work. And the plane, well, okay. I can turn the rudder to the right. I keep saying elevator when I mean rudder. So I can turn the rudder to the left or to the right. It doesn't seem to work immediately. I think Steve from Ground Control would say there is no rudder authority. That's what he would say. There is no rudder authority. That's what's going on here. And I think that that's a problem. I don't know what to do about it though. Okay, have I lost any other important bits? The plane's still fundamentally in shape. So I'm going to try that again. 50% throttle seemed to be about right. Yeah, that was... I think something's shaking. Let me just run the throttle a little bit. Okay, that's better. The prop wasn't properly seated. Okay, I'm getting a little bit of rudder now. It's behaving. It's obeying me a little bit. Okay, come back around this way, shall we? I think I should get a little higher, which isn't going to happen if I hit the ground. I heard a crack then. I'm not too happy about that. Yes, that's the end of flying for today. I've broken the undercarriage off, which shouldn't matter from a flying perspective, but what I learned from the little experience with the wheels last time is that the undercarriage is an incredibly important part of the weight equation around balancing the plane. When I removed those wheels, I figured out after that first flight, when the wheel fell off, I just took the wheel and put it in my pocket, took both wheels and put them in my pocket. Immediately, the plane was more dramatically flying tail heavy. So that those wheels, that undercarriage, is quite important for getting the balance right in terms of the center of gravity, I've learned. So I'm actually very happy with tonight's flight. Honestly, I have to say, I've learned an awful lot. I've made some progress. Definitely that plane is better controlled, better behaved than it was before. Still having some problems with the rudder not really doing what it should be doing in terms of, I turn the rudder, it doesn't necessarily do anything right away. Sometimes it waits a little bit. I'm not sure why that happens. It waits and then maybe it thinks about turning. It's like it has to consider whether it should bother to obey me or not. Whereas the elevator is still twitchy, even with the 66% rate and what am I using? A 50% expo right now, and 66% rate on the elevator. So I might even tone down the elevator even more, bring it down to maybe 50, and maybe even turn up the expo a little bit on the elevator. On the rudder, honestly, there's mechanically nothing much I can do. Those servos are both to the extreme, in the sense that they're, you know, on the outside of the arm, both at the push pin at the inside the front, and here you can see on the back it's on the outside, which is going to give you a maximum amount of leverage. So, or is it? You know what, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I should be moving it in. I'm going to have to try that. Maybe I've got that calculation wrong. See, this is part of this learning experience. So I'm going to think about moving that rudder pin in more so that I get more rudder. Actually, does that make sense? So I move it a shorter distance, move it the same distance but shorter in. It should actually give me more rudder, right? Okay, I think that makes sense, but I'm going to have to test it. I think that's what I should always do. So, okay, lessons for today. Thanks for watching. We shall have some more fun with this, because honestly, it's a heap of fun. My wife doesn't understand how I come back every time with a broken plane, and I have the patience to put the effort into putting it all back together again. Well, it's half the fun, I have to say, figuring out. If I was just putting it back the same as before, I'm not so sure I'd be that interested, but putting it back together because I think I figured out something I need to improve, it really makes it a challenge, and it's definitely fun. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Tim the Plane Man's Plane Time.